Welcome everybody, here's your Strategy Wolf and welcome back to Strategic Command American Civil War. Welcome to my YouTuber multiplayer match versus Balthazor, Old Crow Balthazor, and welcome back to the Conquest of Mexico, where we're playing the US side. We are in the American-Mexican War, and this turn we shall go into 1847, since it was 29th of December last turn, which means we're getting into the second year of this conflict. Yeah, not calendarily speaking, but yeah, second calendar year. And last turn we just took Tampico at the coastline, where we established a supply hub, and I'm kind of hoping, since I saw smaller enemy forces including an HQ here, that our main force under General Scott can follow them or pursue them and maybe destroy some units. Also next to Monterrey there were like intense skirmishes after an attack of the enemy. Yeah, so the situation is still tense and interesting. In New Mexico we're pushing south, and we shall see how much we can gain here. So a lot of interesting points, so I can't wait to see the replay and get in with you guys, so let's not wait and do it. Okay, the enemy attacks at Tampico, that's surprising. Oh wow. Oh wow, it's so much about a small force. That is a way bigger force than I expected to see. And the enemy seems to like to bear down single units of us with concentrated attacks on our rear. I mean, I get the point. Alright. But I don't know, I mean, it's like tearing us down, that's sure. Interesting. So first, before we do anything, we're gonna get Prescott's Conquest of Mexico again, and as always, I'm happy to read it to you. Page 127. It was the first colony, the fruitful parent of so many others, in New Spain. It was hailed with satisfaction by the simple natives who hoped to respond in safety under its protecting shadow. Alas, they could not read the future, or they would have found no cause to rejoice, this harbinger of a revolution more tremendous than any predicted by their bards and prophets. It was not the good Quetzalcoatl who had returned to claim his own again, bringing peace, freedom and civilization in his train. Their fetters indeed would be broken and their wrongs be amply avenged on the proud head of the Aztec. But it was to be by that strong arm which should bow down equally the oppressor and the oppressed. The light of civilization would be poured on their lands, but it would be the light of a consuming fire before their barbaric glory. The institutions, their very existence and the name as a nation would wither and become extinct. Their doom was sealed when the white man had set his foot on their soil. Yeah, well, now we have white men on both sides and a cavalry brigade incoming. So let's have a look on this interesting situation down here. So Tampico has been taken. Okay, maybe normally I would have him here on auto assist. Let's bring some more troops in. Yeah, that's fascinating, to be honest. And I'm not 100% sure how we should continue here. They're also hurt, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brigades. We have, we do have 6 brigades, including 2 regulars, cavalry support, artillery support. I still do see myself here in a superior position. However, and don't know how good the flanking would work. I assume that the town here gives them some supply. So at the moment they have quite good supply situation. Well, okay, before we get here to Tampico, where a lot of things were happening, let's have a look to New Mexico first, where things are quite easy at the moment to what we can do. So let's just push down. And we're getting quite far already. And now we're suddenly in areas that we're used to from the standard scenarios. So, as I said, the main goal here, the Chino mine, should be secured pretty soon, I think. And as I mentioned, the regiment stays here in Taos just for protection reasons. We do have a new cavalry unit, and this brigade we built. This time we're gonna bring this one down next to St. Louis again. since I'm gonna bring them here next time. Since we lost one cav, I definitely want more reconnaissance and speed in here, even though if we might even get some natives, but that's something I want to do later. When we are coming from St. Paul, then I can already move our artillery, our new artillery down here. Maybe it's placed over there, but yeah, will arrive soon anyways. All right, and now we have to have a look at the situation next to Monterey. Ah, the support here through the mountains is not given. That's why they are so bad in here. Yeah, we were standing here more offensively than normal since we were hoping for some that the enemy was like pretty open up here, while he pushed some units north, and we're trying to maybe exploit this. But yeah, we shall see. By the way, this time here the Texas Rangers can push up to come in as reinforcements hopefully soon. Shall we try to attack these not very entrenched brigade in here, just to reduce also the enemy's offensive capabilities? I feel like if we do a warfare of attrition, I think we would win that. So actually I'm supporting this idea. And we have the numerical advantage, right? Slightly. Oh, the enemy, by the way, has a ship now. Interesting to see. So we have to be maybe a little bit careful with our transport. We can de-entrench them over here. I'll try that. Yep. Give them some punishment for their attacks. Question is just how we're gonna do this effectively. Yep, like this probably. I don't want to stand here, you know. This position is really bad since I can be attacked from 3 sides. Oh, the enemy is retreating over here. Okay. Yeah, and we're in a similar spot as last time. That the difference is now we could potentially attack the HQ actually, but I'm not sure if I dare to. But maybe now we can actually man this position here, since now oh yeah, that's something I want to do. Okay, the damage that can be dealt to Saltillo is pretty low. But I think we can move in these guys here to... Oh. I thought we can maybe attack the regulars over here, but we cannot. These guys definitely get their reinforcements, and maybe then we push the regulars over here. And now this decision was made. Now we can't retreat, to be honest. And now I'm happy to keep up this positioning. Okay, I'd rather stay close to the street, to be honest. I mean, we could shuffle those guys in also for another attack on Saltillo, actually. Shall we risk getting... just weakening them? That's... Oh, I'm such an idiot. Sorry, guys. I should have seen that. I mean... They already have lost their attack, of course. Why did I bother shuffling them in? That was a little bit silly. Now I feel a little bit open here since they have their units here, but they're also hurt and so forth. So maybe actually I'm gonna hurt them more now to reduce their... Oh gosh. capabilities for any offensives. And then, yeah, we have to take the stand and see our reinforcements are coming here. Well. And I could now, I feel like nobody's retreating from here. We could try to catch up from the back. Okay, but first let's go to the other front. As you know, I tried to keep our dudes here in 14, but 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turns, I'm in the back of side DU kind of from here, so the enemy would have to distract units to this front. Or down here, you know. Well, interesting. Okay, let's continue here. Okay, there is enemy cavalry here next to San Luis. That's why we can go and take Al Mais. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good and understandable move. Alright. I'm gonna go here with the calf just for more back, yeah, to get an eye out here in worst case, or like not worst case, we can go and actually raid these places and take them. Then I'm gonna get the brigade in here since they are my defensive unit. These regulars I'm gonna move in here because otherwise they don't have a chance to get close and they're at full strength. That's also here they have river protection and they could be attacking with preparedness bonus. No, they cannot as long as Scott stands here, so he needs to come closer. That's important to know. Let's park our artillery here. Let's reinforce definitely most of the troops, yeah. I'm just debating if it's important to take Vallis or not here. And actually not, I'd rather reinforce them, I guess. Then we have more punch if we need it next turn. And then Scott. What's the command range? Did it go to Tampico? It can't... No, so let's bring Scott up. Since this is a supply hub anyways, we should be fine, right? Yeah. Alright. Here I'm feeling actually a little bit risky and unhappy about the result. However, the enemy is also hurt and had to reinforce, so it's not like the enemy has a lot of full and super fresh troops here. That should also take down a little bit of the battle value. And once again, do we get supply from towns? Yes, from settlements. Yes, also, okay. So because once again I'm thinking we might go up here. 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, and yeah, then we have some supply, but it's not like we're gonna crush them so easily from here. But it would be a pain a little bit for the enemy. That's given. But we don't know what's coming if the enemy has post. Yeah, or we go here and threaten San Luis from the north. That's obviously also a kind of an interesting target. Maybe that's what we're gonna do actually, because, you know, I'm pretty sure, like, given this the amount of the sheer amount here that the enemy hasn't dedicated a troop that goes down necessarily. We do have our calf here that can also annoy San Luis here, and I have the feeling maybe there's only 1 calf down here. So if we take Venado, we are threatening, yeah, the town from the north heavily, and we can always check out with the calf if San Luis is unoccupied. And in a great case, I mean, like taking here this capital quickly would be an option. So let's just speculate that the enemy doesn't have any forces down here. This is, I'm gambling, but worst case, we're sacrificing here this brigade. Oh. This came unexpected, so much about our plans here, so the enemy has dedicated troops here. Let's just hope that the enemy actually doesn't have troops here now, taking 14 to encircle us. That would be kind of a catastrophe. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Now we know there's also a brigade, so okay, the enemy security passes here. That's good to know. All right, we have 219 MPP left. Let's see what we can do about them. As I mentioned, I would love to get Indians out. Yeah, also expensive. At the same time, I want to reinforce our fleet where possible. Does it make sense to shoot at the boys here? I mean, we can try. Worst case, we level up or something. Yeah, and with a little bit of luck, we deal some damage too. So actually fine. And then here, this frigate can secure Port Isabel and repair over here. I think that's fair. Okay, a 1-2 attack. I'm actually happy also to take. I don't know, the enemy has quite some potential, but now when I see our force here and probably the better HQ also, and then we're getting a little bit into the back of the enemy through the jungle, but still, I don't know if the enemy is so stable here, and we can use our fleet also to fire at them. I would expect kind of, I don't know if the enemy is really keeping his stand here. Of course he doesn't, there's no CAF as I see, so no reconnaissance. Maybe the enemy also doesn't know about these 3 extra brigades and so forth. What I'm saying is, I don't know if the enemy is gonna retreat. If I was the enemy without knowing here what's standing here, I would probably retreat a little bit down to here, but I don't know if this marching up was a good decision for him. We shall see, but also over here, this is it's such an, I think it's a really fascinating scenario, by the way, since you have a lot of options and it's not so clear, I think, what to do, in my opinion. So yeah, Mexico's wide landscape leaves you a lot of possibilities. All right. Anyways, we can't purchase anything else anymore. At least it looks like it. So we're gonna save up these 190 MPPs. Right. Yep. And I'm kind of wondering if we, by the way, should keep Monclova before the enemy comes and surrounds us, but he can't deploy too many troops here really to follow us, right? For this moment, we keep it. In the next 2 turns, we're going to have the Texas Rangers as additional reinforcements. Maybe we I would like some more. It is what it is, guys. Interesting scenario. Wide, a lot of possibilities. I'm excited already for the next turn. Let me know what you think, of course. And yeah, actually, this is my first turn is releasing today. So yeah, I'm excited how the other videos performed already. How many people of you were interested actually in this match? I hope plenty. But let me know what your thoughts think so far. And before we end the turn, let's end the turn quickly together. Collecting some money. And then seems to be it. And of course, as always, if you enjoyed this one, it would be fantastic if you support my and also Balthazar's channel with a like and a subscription to support our series and our efforts. Thank you so much for your help. And of course, most importantly, see you next time in the next episode. Until then, bye. Your Strategy Wolf.